All right, good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, November 16th, 2023. The date is 11162023. Crazy, huh? Crazy numbers. Anyways, um, I'm making this video not for the Globetards because honestly, I can't take Globetards serious because they're too stupid, and everything that they say is just dumb shit. And I'm gonna prove that right now. This video right now is actually for the flat earthers, and for anyone else that's anti-globalist and wants to take down the globe model. That because it's not real. You don't have to be a flat earther, to be an anti-globalist. You know what I mean? You don't. You could just right away, tie that globe onto tie that globe to we're the United Nations and the Catholic Church and the Jesuits, and it goes all the way back. I mean, it's too ridiculous. It's too ridiculous because there's a lot of symbology that works in the mind. That's how the mind works, through first of all through symbolism. So that is thrown out there over and over, and a lot of the globetrotters, they take all that serious. Okay, they worship it, they idol it, they do not question it. Okay, they don't challenge it. So this is not for them. This one is for the people that are serious. All right, this one will be a serious video since you guys have been asking for it. Now, I brought this. I brought up this topic a long time ago. It is really important in science, and this is the reason. One of the main reasons why pseudoscience exists, because science is not there. People are not practicing science anymore as they should. All right. First of all, you don't try to prove a truth. That is stupid, everyone. If something is true, it is true. It doesn't need your help. Who the hell do you think you are to try and prove something that's already true? It's truth. It doesn't need your backup. Why would truth need your backup? Okay, what you do is you eliminate. Okay, you eliminate all the wrongs, the lies, the false, the falsehoods, all the fake shit. You eliminate all that. At the end, truth remains standing, and at that point, you've done your job. It's not your job to try to prove something true. That's stupidity. That's redundant. That's insanity. Something true is already true, guys. Don't waste your time on that. Okay? Eliminate the bad shit so truth can be standing firm. Solely firm. So moving forward, and what this video is about is actually replicability and reproducibility. Okay, you guys can see that the scholarly articles for replicability and reproducibility. So what we're gonna do, we'll take NIH, because a lot of the globetards, we'll start with NIH. Okay, so this is 2000. So let me see. This comes again from NIH. All right, 3, understanding reproducibility and replicability. In 2013, the cover story of The Economist, How Science Goes Wrong, brought public attention to issues of reproducibility and replicability across science and engineering. In this chapter, we discuss how the practice of science has evolved and how these changes have introduced challenges to reproducibility and replicability. Because the terms reproducibility and replicability are used differently across scientific disciplines, introducing confusion to a complicated set of challenges and solutions. The committee also details in definition and highlights the scope and expression of the problems of non-reproducibility and non-replicability across science and engineering research. The evolving practices of science. Scientific research has evolved from an activity mainly undertaken by individuals operating in a few locations to many teams, large communities, and complex organizations involving hundreds of thousands of individuals worldwide. In the 17th century, scientists would communicate through letters and were able to understand and assimilate major developments across all emerging major disciplines. In 2016, the most recent year for which data are more available, more than 2,295,000 scientific and engineering research articles were published worldwide. The NSF, National Science Foundation, 2018 E. In addition, the number of scientific and engineering fields and subfields of research is large and has greatly expanded in recent years, especially in fields that intersect disciplines, an example, biophysics. More than 230 distinct fields and subfields can now be identified. The published literature is so voluminous and specialized that some research look to information retrieval, machine learning, and artificial intelligence techniques to track and apprehend the important work of their own fields, in their own fields. Another major revolution in science came with the recent explosion of the availability of large amounts of data in combination with wide available and affordable computing resources. These changes have transformed many disciplines, enabled important scientific discoveries, and led to major shifts in science. In addition, the use of statistical analysis of data has expanded, and many disciplines have come to rely on complex and expensive instrumentation that generates and can automate analysis of large digital data sets. Large-scale computation has been adopted in fields as diverse as astronomy, genetics, geoscience, particle physics, and social science, and has added scope to fields such as artificial intelligence. The democratization of data and computation has created new ways to conduct research. In particular, large-scale computation allows researchers to do research that was not possible a few decades ago. For example, public health researchers mine large databases and social media, searching for patterns, while earth scientists run massive simulations of complex systems to learn about the past, which can offer insight into possible, there's that word possible, future events. So again, when you're trying to predict the future, all right? So I'm gonna stop right there, and I'm gonna go back to the top. We're gonna we'll do those paragraphs again real quick. So scientific research has evolved from an activity mainly undertaken by individuals operating a few locations to many teams. Okay, so what they're saying is this. When science started, okay, first of all, science is a form of employment. It's a job. It's a way to get money. Before scientists, there were no science. They were called natural philosophers. Okay, these natural philosophers were mainly all educated Catholics that started the Royal Society. Some of them were completely insane due to their religious indoctrination, such as Isaac Newton. Okay, so that's what they're talking about. It went from a small group of religious Catholics trying to challenge, themselves to it says hundreds of thousands of individuals worldwide, complex organizations, large communities, many teams. Now, all of those are seeking money. Unlike the natural philosophers that began the Royal Society, okay, the majority of the natural philosophers did not try to make money off of trying to figure out reality. They just tried to figure out reality because they were educated. Okay, they weren't looking for prizes or awards. When Isaac Newton realized that they could be paid to make up all these weird stories, and then use that power to manipulate those around him. Okay, once he learned that, the word scientist was invented. Okay, scientists are actually people that are employed. They want money. They're seeking awards. They're seeking recognition, reputation. That's not the same as a natural philosopher, guys. All right. So it went from all that to a bunch of to like so many people. There's too many people. Two heads are not better than one on one body. That's something that everyone pretty much can comprehend. Now, when it comes to all of this other stuff right here, you see hundreds and thousands of people, making up, simulations and then talking about simulations. None of that is actual science. And as we go further in, we'll see that. Okay, and they're talking about computation, simulations, basically cartoons is what they're saying. Made up cartoons. All right? I don't care what you say. A simulation is, in fact, just some type of cartoon crap. All right? It is not reality. And as we went down here on the last sentence that I read right now from this article, which can offer insight into possible future events. Okay, now moving forward into the article. Another change in science is an increased pressure to publish new scientific discoveries in prestigious and what some consider high impact journals such as Nature and Science. The pressure is felt worldwide across disciplines and by researchers at all levels, but is perhaps most acute for researchers at the beginning of their scientific careers who are trying to establish a strong scientific record to increase their chances of obtaining tenure at an academic institution and grants for future work. Okay? Tenure decisions have traditionally been made on the basis of scientific record, in exact published records of important new results in the field, and have given added weight to publications in more prestigious journals. Competition for federal grants and large source of academic research funding is intense as the number of applicants grows at a rate higher than the increase in the federal research budgets. These multiple factors create incentives for researchers to overstate the importance of their results and increase the risk of bias, either conscious or unconscious, in data collection, analysis, and reporting. By the way, you guys, reading that off topic, that paragraph, okay, I have spent a decade, okay, compiling the behavior of severely globe-trotted human beings. You guys know that. I have intentionally been probing, stimulating, and triggering responses from all these fucking globetards. You guys see how easy it is to get them to act childish. Like, if you guys don't understand what I'm doing, then you don't understand science. So, back into the article, moving to the next paragraph. In the context of these dynamic changes, the question and issues related to reproducibility and replicability remain central to the development and evolution of science. See how they're trying to change? Evolution means change. They're trying to change science. How should studies and other research approaches be designed to efficiently generate reliable knowledge? How might hypotheses and results be better communicated to allow others to confirm, refute, or build on them? How can the potential biases of scientists themselves be understood, identified, and exposed in order to improve accuracy in the generation and interpretation of research results? How can intentional misrepresentation and fraud be detected and eliminated? Do you guys understand that? That paragraph right there, everyone, is what I'm aiming at. Okay, I'm literally intentionally triggering these globetrotters to expose them and to prove that they are frauds. Okay? All right? If you guys don't understand the process of elimination, I suggest you start practicing it. Because it's not something you get right away. You have to like let go of your emotions, stick to the plan, trigger who you have to trigger the responses you have to trigger, stimulate the responses, and then record that. Okay, I have over a decade proving that severely globe-trotted human beings are easily triggered and are exposed as frauds. Okay, couch potatoes that sit around fucking reciting stupid stories. Stories which they never reproduced results or even attempted to replicate. So moving to the next paragraph. Researchers have proposed approaches to answering some of the questions over the past decades. As early as the 1960s, Jacob Cohen surveyed psychology articles from the perspective of statistical power to detect effect sizes, an approach that launched many subsequent power surveys, also known as meta-analysis. Meta-analysis. You guys get it? In the social sciences in subsequent years. You guys get this? Let me read that real quick again. Researchers have proposed approaches to answering some of the questions over the past decades. As early as the 1960s, Jacob Cohen surveyed psychology articles from the perspective of statistical power to detect effect sizes, an approach that launched many subsequent power surveys, also known as meta-analysis. Meta. In the social sciences in subsequent years. All right, moving to the next paragraph. Researchers in biomedicine have been focused on threats to validity of results since at least the 1970s. In response to the threat, biomedical researchers developed a wide variety of approaches to address the concern, including an emphasis on randomized experiments with masking, also known as blinding, reliance on analytic summaries over individual trial results, proper sizing and power of experiments, and the introduction of trial registration and detailed experimental protocols. Many of the same approaches have been proposed, counter shortcomings in reproducibility and replicability. See the shortcomings, and so to all in all, I'm not going to keep going because it takes a lot for a lot of people to understand what reproducibility and replicability is. Okay, I absolutely destroyed the Cavendish experiment because first and foremost, none of the Globetrotters have ever replicated the Cavendish experiments. They have all manipulated that experiment, made their own scientific experiments supposedly, twisted all kinds of stuff, substituted all kinds of items, substituted all kinds of material. Okay, the method of procedure inside of a classroom is definitely not at all the same as trying to monitor a staged science experiment from afar, and by that I mean like literally hundreds of yards away with a telescope. All right. So because of the fact that the Globeheads wanted to keep pushing the issue about the Cavendish experiment, it was easy to point out that they were sitting in a classroom full of mass. The students were a body of mass. The books, there was a body mass. There was a lot of electromagnetic and electrostatic interruptions, or not interruptions, interferences. You have the clock, you have computers, yeah, all of that is electromagnetic, electrostatic movement of everything, of all that. All of that causes changes of the staging area. So none of that is, first of all, replication is, none of that was replicating the Cavendish experiment. It was totally different from the Cavendish experiment. On top of that, the balls never pointed at the body of students. Okay, the mass of all the students. All right. If all that was true about mass, those balls would not swing towards a small ball. Those balls would swing towards the mass of students towards the audience that's watching this supposed toy go around in circles, because that's what it was. It was nothing like the Cavendish experiment at all. So the Cavendish experiment has not been replicated by any stupid globetard. Okay, the reproducibility therefore is out the window, because unless you replicate the science experiment as it is, as the method of procedure is written out, okay, then you cannot reproduce the same results. The purpose of replicability and reproducibility is that you replicate the science experiment and you're supposed to get the same results. Okay, moving forward on that alone, nothing the Globetrotters have been posting online on social media, being triggered and falling into this trap, nothing they have posted has been a replication or a reproducibility. Okay, nothing they have posted. Okay, they literally recite stories exactly like a Catholic is supposed to do. Catholics are supposed to recite stories that are told. Most of those stories are not even from the Bible. They're stories that they're stupid stories, and they have to sit there and completely, repeat and recite and regurgitate. Okay, but they have not reproduced the same results from any replication. They don't do science. They are Catholics, okay? Now, if you're a flat earther, a true flat earther, okay, you're going to stop talking about flat earth, because there's no point in trying to prove any truth. All right? You're going to stop trying to prove that you know the truth. All right? No. All right? That's not how this works. Here's what you need to do. You need to expose these globetrotters for what they are, which are frauds. The truth doesn't care about you. The truth is there. Okay? The observable reality is there. No, it's not going to go nowhere. You're pointing at the horizon. Okay? If you're pointing at the horizon, telling people, look, it's a flat horizon, then wow, you're not intelligent at all. And you shouldn't be calling yourself a flat earther, much less an anti-globalist. Do you guys even science, bro?